Ambazonians, welcome to today's edition of Ambazonia This Week. And today we have a whole lot of discussions on our front burner, but we will start with the focus on Africa as usual. And our target today is South Africa. South Africa's crisis dividing a continent. Oh wow. So a storm is gathering at the southern tip of Africa, and its shockwaves are being felt across the African continent. South Africa, once celebrated as a symbol of African liberation and unity, is increasingly becoming the epicenter of a growing continental divide. What began as domestic frustration over unemployment, crime, poverty, and failing public services has evolved into a dangerous wave of anti-immigrant sentiment, with fellow Africans often becoming the target. Across townships and cities, migrants from countries such as Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Somalia have found themselves caught in the crossfire of a nation struggling with deep economic and social wounds. Businesses have been attacked, communities displaced, and diplomatic tensions ignited. The crisis is no longer just a South African problem at the moment. African governments are watching with growing concern as relationships between citizens of different African nations is becoming strained. Critics argue that the rise of xenophobia threatens the very foundation of Pan-Africanism, the belief that Africans, regardless of nationality, share a common destiny. For many observers, the contradiction is painful. South Africa benefited from solidarity across Africa during the struggle against apartheid. Today, some fear that spirit of brotherhood is being replaced by suspicion, anger, and division. As frustration grows and political rhetoric intensifies, a troubling question emerges. How can Africans speak of continental integration? Not just continental integration, free movement, and economic unity, while Africans are increasingly turning against one another. Well, the continent now faces a defining moment. Whether Africa emerges stronger or more divided, it may depend on how South Africa confronts the crisis within its borders and how African leaders react to this present situation. Oh well, this is just where we'll lay the foundation of today's discussion. And one major question is this threatening the dream of a united Africa? Another question is, what is unfolding is more than a national challenge, or is it just a test of African soil? Well, all of this is what we will be delving into tonight, and of course I have my in-house analyst and panelist, as the case may be, for a week now, rounding up to 2 weeks. We've been doing this together, and it seems like it's amazing. Barrister Fru, welcome to today's edition of Ambazonia This Week. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Onye. Thank you. I'm doing fine.
Hello, Barrister. I can't hear you. How are you doing?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm fine.
All right. We have a whole lot, but let's start with this particular issue from South Africa. We'll just talk about it a little, and then we'll come to the newsroom, do reports, and then come back to the discussion table. At this point, we have seen so many Africans, being deported back to their different countries, from Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. Everyone, they felt this. Is there any kind of legal protection that should protect African, living in another African country? As this point in time, do you think that there should be some kind of legal protection that Africans living in another African country should have with what is happening in South Africa?
Onye, I would venture to say that there is no legal protection other than diplomacy. Other than diplomacy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, I was saying that there is no other legal protection other than diplomatic protection, because Africa is divided into 54 countries, and each country has its boundaries and its government, and they pretend to stand on their own. They are not thinking about how to unite, how we can unite into one block and face the world. Look at what is happening in South Africa. I don't know whether if Mandela was alive or Thabo Mbeki is still lucid, this will be happening, because Africans were at the forefront of the fight against apartheid to liberate South African blacks. You will not believe that Africans are the victims of South Africa right now, xenophobic victims of South Africa. This is the paradox of Africans. How can we be talking about Pan-Africanism and acting in this manner? South Africans have shown us that as far as South Africa is concerned, Pan-Africanism does not concern them, because they think they are white people in black skin. Because why would they be doing that to their black brothers? Why? You will remember that from the OAU, every African country stood like one man to fight the apartheid government. Africans met in conferences. They went abroad convincing these other nations like Europe and America, and they fought to liberate Africa. South African blacks were refugees in most of the African countries. They were taken care of by other African countries. Is it the same South Africa that we know? And who is the president of South Africa? They call him what? Ramaphosa. What is his name again? Onye? I cannot hear you.
Ramaphosa.
Ramaphosa. Is he really the president of South Africa?
Hello, Barrister.
Where are the forces of law and order in South Africa? Where are they?
Oh, I can't hear you, sir.
Oh, you cannot hear me? Then the problem is from... Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. I can hear you now. Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you.
The problem is from your end, eh? Check whatever is going on there. I was saying that South Africa does not have a president. Or if they have a president, he is not interested in Pan-Africanism. He is not interested in the interests of the African people. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Okay, I think we're having a little bit of technical issues, but I just heard, can you hear me? I just heard that. All right, Barrister, I sincerely apologize.
It means that all what I've been saying, I've been speaking in the air. Can you fix it now so that I can talk?
Hello, can you just say something? Let me be sure I can hear you, please, so that we can have easy communication.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead, please.
There's a problem with sound. Somebody is, I don't know what is going on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, right. Then you have to start from afresh, because all what I said went to the air. Tell him to
Okay, all right. Since you have said we should start from afresh, um, should I start by asking the question, or should I
Yes.
start by introducing the show?
No,
Which
no,
of
the
the
same
afresh
question
would
that
you
you,
want us to
the
start
same
from?
question that you asked. The introduction was good. I heard it, and I heard the ask the question again so that we start all over because there's no sound. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Ask the question now.
All right, so I was asking the question while what I asked was the fact that all of this is happening at this point in South Africa to migrants. I'm asking, is there some kind of legal protection that Africans in general can take at this moment while living in another country using South Africa as a case study?
As far as I know, I don't see any legal instrument that African countries can use other than diplomacy. Have you heard that?
Yes, I heard you. Go ahead.
Now, every country in Africa, there are 54 of them. Everybody pretends to have his sovereignty and would treat with you only on a diplomatic level. That's what is happening on the continent, except the Sahel. I said it last time and I'm saying it now. The Sahel is showing an example of Pan-Africanism that all of Africa is not yet buying into it. Particularly the big African countries. I've not heard anything from Nigeria. With all what is happening in South Africa, I've not heard anything from Nigeria. I've not heard anything from all the other big boys of the African continent, which means that everybody for himself, God for us all. And why is it happening when South Africa was fighting apartheid? All of Africa stood like one man and fought the white South Africa. Fought to finish. Africans received refugees from all of South Africa, black refugees that were all over the continent. Today, after all that fight and South Africa regained its freedom, the black people regained freedom. Who are the first victims? Other African countries, other African citizens. What sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. Meaning that this Pan-Africanism is a pipe dream. We don't know whether we are going to achieve it with this kind of attitude coming from South Africa. And I was questioning the fact that whether Ramaphosa is still the president of South Africa and is the leader of the ANC. I don't understand it. Africans are being beaten, driven away, tortured by other Africans, and the forces of law and order are absent. The government of South Africa is absent, and Africans are left to fend for themselves. Africans from other countries are left to fend for themselves. What is South Africa trying to tell the world? That they can go to court for Palestine and will not come to the aid of black Africans? Is that the message they are sending to the world? Does South Africa really want to be part of Africa? Are you hearing me, Onye? Or because I'm not here.
You asked the question. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You asked the question if South Africa wants to be part of the rest of the world, and I'm asking that is the question they should answer at this point.
Whether South Africa wants to be part of Africa or they want to be cut off from Africa. Because to fight to allow citizens of South Africa who are blacks like the rest of Africa to torture our people from Mozambique, from Nigeria, from Cameroon, from the Congo, from all over. Those who are visiting in South Africa, those who are living in South Africa, they are now the victims of xenophobia. What is going on? If South Africa wants to be cut off from the rest of the African, they should say so that we take judicial notice. I was saying that South Africa can rush to take Israel to court on behalf of the Palestine, but they will not protect black Africans living in South Africa. Ramaphosa is sitting there calling himself the president of South Africa and the head of the ANC. Is that the same ANC we knew that we fought with to abolish apartheid? We brought the world to think all of Africa brought the world to liberate South Africa. And today, our people are being killed, they are being driven away, they are being chased out of their properties are being burnt all over the place and asked to go away on the continent that is supposed to belong to them. The other day I was listening to the president of Kenya, the president of Rwanda, the president of Mozambique, talking Pan-Africanism, talking about abolishing visas. They allow Africans to travel freely on the continent. That discussion does not include South Africa. What is going on? I think we don't even have an organization, on an African organization. The AU is dead. If the AU was not dead, what has the AU said about what is happening in South Africa? Nothing. I've not heard anything. Have you, Onye? I can't even hear you.
I haven't heard. Can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you now.
All
I
right.
can hear you now.
So sorry about the technical hitches here and there. But like you asked, I haven't heard. But one of the things I have heard is, especially from the president of Rwanda, already before now, getting into Kenya was visa free. All you needed to do was just to get some kind of document online. So Kenya has been responding to other Africans. I mean, Africans can get into Kenya just visa free. Just get your e-document online and then you can travel. But Rwanda just came on board, which is what you were saying about a week ago, to say, oh, it's going to be visa free come so and so time. And I think DR Congo too is also complying. DR Congo, the president was part of the presidents that decided that their countries will be visa free for Africans. So yes, the question is, what is AU doing, the African Union? Well, while we wait to see, because this particular incident in South Africa is gaining momentum and all Africans are talking about it. All Africans are talking about the mass deportations, the forced removals, and all of that. So, Barrister Fru, while we can see the mass deportation and all of that, can there be justification, or can they be justified? These persons who have been unjustly removed from the countries that they've been residents in, can they have any form of justification when it comes to the international law? Is there any form of justification that they can get? Go ahead, please.
Look, Onye, those who are in South Africa, those who have settled in South Africa, they should have some kind of legal status. And those who are visiting South Africa who are blacks, they should have visas. But if the black community of South Africa is attacking other black communities of other countries, and the forces of law and order in South Africa are like spectators, and the government of South Africa is just watching, what message does that send to the rest of the world? What does he send? What does he say to the United Nations? Because every country in the world is supposed to respect human rights. The population is supposed to respect human rights of visiting people. Even white people visiting on the African continent, nobody has a right to torture them or to put them out when they are there legally. That is where I don't understand this xenophobia against black people in South Africa. The question I ask, does South Africa really want to think that South Africa is not part of Africa? They should let all Africans from the north to the south and to the east to know that South Africa does not belong to Africa. And then we will take judicial notice and treat them accordingly. Because I don't understand what is going on. Even the mighty Nigeria has not said one word that I know of. But Nigerians are the largest victims of South African attack. Black Nigerians have suffered. They have lost property. Nigerians are investors. They bring in a lot of money to grow the South African economy. They have businesses in South Africa and they are being tortured and burned down. And the Nigerian government is quiet. I don't understand it. Those are the big boys. What is North Africa saying? Countries like Egypt, countries like Algeria, countries like Libya, those are countries that we know that they had been very active in the African coming together. South Africans were refugees all over Africa, from north to south to east and to west. And we took care of their people. During the apartheid thing, we took care of their people. And when they were free, they went back. Now they don't want to see us. What's going on? Okay, if they want to be not part of Africa, they should give us notice so that we take judicial notice that South Africa is not part of Africa. What will make us now not believe that they were torturing white when President Trump made an allegation that South Africa was torturing blacks and was giving white people torturing white people, and America was giving visas to white people to leave South Africa? What makes us not to believe that if they can do that to black people? And their president is sitting there quiet. The government is quiet. The only person that I give credence to in South Africa is Julius Malema. Okay. He has stood firm, and talk about that that they do not have to torture their own brothers. And he's a lone voice in South Africa right now on this issue. Where is the government? Where is the ANC? But when it comes to asking Africans to stand up and help them, they did, and we did.
Oh, well, Barrister, Barrister Fru, you talked about the governments of African governments. I do not know. Do you think that at this point there should be some kind of obligations, from African governments to protect their citizens abroad, different African countries?
Oh yes, Onye. Every African country that has citizens in South Africa should take the necessary steps to protect their citizens and get them out of there. Let black South Africans have South Africa for themselves and go to hell with it. Because I'm very angry because we spent the Africans spent decades fighting the white South African to make sure that blacks were liberated. Is that the pay we are getting back? If Nigeria has not taken steps to protect its citizens in South Africa, Cameroon has not taken steps to protect its citizens in South Africa, the Congo and all the other places, Rwanda, Mozambique and others, you will not believe that a lot of black South Africans now, some of them are running to Mozambique, to Maputo, for protection from the harassment from South African blacks? That's what is happening.
Barrister, at this point, we've accepted that the African Union has not done anything. But what do you think is the reason why? Because this has gone on for a long time. You know, this has gone on for a long time. Why do you think that the African Union, just like you mentioned, is taking a stronger, it's taking a longer time and it's taking no stance at all in this present situation? What may be the situation? You asked, where are they? We do not know. But what do you think may be the reason why the African Union?
The African Union does not exist anymore. I know the OAU existed. The African Union is a toothless bulldog right now. They have been financed by the European Union. They cannot talk. They are all a club of dictators on the continent. Because what is happening to black people in South Africa would have necessitated an emergency conference of the African Union to address the issue. But have they? Where are they? Even their headquarters were in Addis Ababa was financed by the European Union. So are they under the French and the European Union, or they are an African organization? Because they are making no impact on the continent. Not one whatsoever. Look at the war that has been going on between La République of Cameroon and Ambazonia. The African Union has done nothing, said nothing. Even when people like Thabo Mbeki sent the ex-head of state sent somebody to Yaoundé, he was treated like a head of state and received on red carpet, and the mission failed before he started. So what has South Africa as an organization done about the wars on the continent, especially the war between the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, and La République of Cameroon? Nothing. They are unheard of. They are a toothless bulldog. They do not exist like the European Union. They have no. They have what is their job? What is their terms of reference? Nothing.
Move to home front.
They have made no impact on the continent. Look at what was happening between ECOWAS and the Sahel. What did the African Union do?
Move to home front reports.
Nothing. That's where we are.
Well, Barrister, it seems like we do not have so much time. You know, today is draft. I have a whole lot of discussions that we would have had on this issue. You know, on a very lighter note, you know, the World Cup started, and I could say it's on a lighter note, but it may not be a lighter note for some persons who were very serious. So South Africa played against Mexico, and surprisingly, a lot of Africans supported Mexico.
Oh yes, I did.
Africa. So
I did. Let me tell you why. If South Africa can kill and maim their own brothers from other African countries, why do they deserve our support? They will be knocked up very soon. If they want support from all the African countries, they must earn it. That's why I supported Mexico to beat them and they beat them well. Other countries will beat them. As long as black people on this earth are existing, South Africans, with what they are doing in South Africa, the blacks in South Africa, they will never win one single match.
Alright, Barrister, I love the way you owned up that you even supported Mexico, but we do not have, like I said, we do not have so much time today, and I'm very sad because usually when it's just you and I, we have enough time to dissect and talk about a whole lot of things, but right now we have to move to reports from the home front. There are a lot of reports making the news, and we'll talk about the GCE, and all of that. When we come back, we'll analyze, go to mega county draft, and then we'll try to summarize. We're already running out of time, so let's head over to the newsroom for some reports from the home front.
Fellow Ambazonians, today is Saturday, the 13th of June 2026, is the launching of our county humanitarian draft season. This is our mega humanitarian county draft. So this day we are launching this exercise for all the counties put together. So every county executive is invited. Every member of government is invited. All well-wishers, all supporters of our endeavor. All those of you who are on the peripheries, those who are inside, the flag bearers, the frontliners, everyone is invited. Let us launch this season and let us put our hands together and make sure we finish this sooner than later. Extend this invite to your friends, to your colleagues, to every revolutionary firebrand that you know, every pillar and everyone who has been and who is in support of this struggle. Spread the invitation, share it as much as possible, from the home front to the diaspora. Thank you very much. I hope to see you there. Let's have a good time together. If I have some things to say, I will probably wait till tomorrow, during the draft to tell you. So you are all invited. Thank you for coming. Fellow Ambazonians, today is Saturday, the 13th of June 2026, is the launching of our county humanitarian draft season. This is our mega humanitarian county draft. So this day we are launching this exercise for all the counties put together. So every county executive is invited. Every member of government is invited. All well-wishers, all supporters of our endeavor. All those of you who are on the peripheries, those who are inside, the flag bearers, the frontliners, everyone is invited. Let us launch this season and let us put our hands together and make sure we finish this sooner than later. Extend this invite to your friends, to your colleagues, to every revolutionary firebrand that you know, every pillar and everyone who has been and who is in support of this struggle. Spread the invitation, share it as much as possible, from the home front to the diaspora. Thank you very much. I hope to see you there. Let's have a good time together. If I have some things to say, I will probably wait till tomorrow, during the draft to tell you. So you are all invited. Thank you for coming. Fellow Ambazonians, today is Saturday, the 13th of June 2026, is the launching of our county humanitarian draft season. This is our mega humanitarian county draft. So this day we are launching this exercise for all the counties put together. So every county executive is invited. Every member of government is invited. All well-wishers, all supporters of our endeavor. All those of you who are on the peripheries, those who are inside, the flag bearers, the frontliners, everyone is invited. Let us launch this season and let us put our hands together and make sure we finish this sooner than later. Extend this invite to your friends, to your colleagues, to every revolutionary firebrand that you know, every pillar and everyone who has been and who is in support of this struggle. Spread the invitation, share it as much as possible, from the home front to the diaspora. Thank you very much. I hope to see you there. Let's have a good time together. If I have some things to say, I will probably wait till tomorrow, during the draft to tell you. So you are all invited. Thank you for coming.
Alright, here we have some reports from the home front. Let's start with the French government announcing a 5,000 francs CFA award for all GCE 2026 candidates amidst exam leak disruptions. So Cameroon's government has announced the financial award for all candidates writing the 2026 GCE examinations following disruptions caused by the leakage of examination questions and the subsequent rescheduling of papers. Well, according to a press release issued by the Ministry of Secondary Education, the decision was taken by the Prime Minister, head of government, as a gesture to acknowledge delays and inconveniences experienced during the examination process. Under the arrangement, each candidate is expected to receive 5,000 CFA francs alongside writing materials. Authorities have instructed candidates to report to their respective examination centers on Friday, June 12, 2026 at 9 a.m. for the distribution exercise. Now, the announcement comes in the wake of widespread concern over the leak of GCE questions, which forced officials to reschedule parts of their written session. The incident triggered uncertainty among students, parents, and schools, with many expressing frustration over disrupted revision schedules and added financial and emotional pressure. Education authorities have defended the rescheduling as necessary to preserve the integrity and credibility of the examination system. However, the disruption has also renewed public debate over the security of national examinations and the effectiveness of safeguards meant to prevent malpractice. The GCE remains a key academic milestone in Southern Cameroon's education system, but recurring challenges, including question leaks and administrative adjustments, continues to raise concern among educators and stakeholders. As candidates prepare for the scheduled award distribution, attention remains focused on how authorities intend to restore confidence in the examination process and prevent similar incidences in future sessions. You know, this has been a bone of contention about the GCE exams, and for all we know, this is a major examination for young people and young people in Southern Cameroon. For some countries and some other climes, there are some external exams that are taken, but for the Southern Cameroons, this is one of the major exams that they take. But it seems to be porous because there has been conversations around it. Barrister Fru, I'm sure that as an educationist that you are, you know, you're very learned, you understand some of these principles and you understand some of these political gimmicks that is happening. Barrister Fru, let's have this conversation. You know, the extra 5,000 CFA francs that is being awarded to the students, and you know, malpractice being leaked. The exam seems not to be credible anymore. Barrister Fru, let's have this conversation before we move on to the rest of the reports this night. Barrister Fru, are you there? Hello, Barrister Fru. All right, he seems to be a little bit frozen, so let's take some of the rest of the reports, and when we come back, we'll definitely, you know, get his point of view. All right, another report coming in from the home front says that 7 Biaka University students released after detention over exam malpractice and forged receipts. 7 students of the Biaka University Institute of Boyer have been released after spending a day in police custody over allegations of examination malpractice and bank receipt forgery. The students were freed on Friday night after the institution withdrew its complaint following internal deliberations, according to information confirmed by the press. The students had been detained on Thursday after university authorities reported suspected exam irregularities during second semester examination. The institution alleges that pre-written answers to 2 courses were discovered and found to match the examination questions, raising suspicion of an internal leak. University officials say the students failed to disclose the source of the leaked materials when questioned, prompting the matter to be escalated to the police. During subsequent internal intervention and investigation, one student reportedly admitted to receiving the leaked questions and sharing them with others. 5 students were held in connection with the alleged exam malpractice, while 2 others were detained over accusations of forging bank payment receipts. The institution later withdrew its complaint, leading to the release of all 7 students. However, the university confirmed that the affected examination in the 2 compromised courses have been cancelled and rescheduled for Sunday. The Biaka University Institute of Boyer, affiliated with the University of Boyer, maintains a reputation for academic discipline and enforcement of examination standards and has in the past taken strict measures against academic misconduct. The incident shows ongoing concerns around examination integrity in higher institutions as universities continue to tighten oversight mechanisms to curb malpractice and safeguard academic credibility. All right, Barrister Mbeseha, is it back? All right, still on tonight, Chiroma takes Cameroon election crackdown case to French court. French-Cameroon's post-election dispute has taken an international legal turn after Issa Chiroma Bakare announced that he has filed 2 criminal complaints in Paris invoking universal jurisdiction over alleged abuses linked to the country's contested October 12, 2025 presidential election. In a statement dated June 12, 2026, Chiroma said the complaint was submitted to the public prosecutor at the Paris Judicial Court and targets individual he holds responsible for the security crackdown that followed the disputed vote. The filing reportedly names 21 political, administrative, military, and security officials, including senior figures within the Cameroonian state apparatus. Those listed include President Paul Biya, senior presidential officials, members of the cabinet overseeing territorial administration and defense, as well as top security commanders associated with elite intervention units. The move marks a significant escalation in the post-election standoffs, raising questions over whether domestic political disputes in Cameroons are now shifting into foreign legal arenas due to ongoing growing mistrust in national judicial institutions. Chiroma argues that the Cameroonian justice system lacks the independence required to investigate alleged abuses linked to the election aftermath. He claims to have compiled extensive documentation, including testimonies and case files, alleging arbitrary arrests, deaths in custody, and ill treatment of protesters in days following the vote. Amongst individuals referenced in his submission are opposition-linked figures who reportedly died during or after post-election arrest, though independent verification of the circumstances has not been provided. While the complaints have been formally lodged in France, it remains unclear, very unclear, whether French prosecutors will open a full investigation, a step that under universal jurisdiction frameworks is typically subject to strict local thresholds and evidently reviews. While the development adds to a new layer of complexity to Cameroon's disputed election, which has remained politically sensitive since October 2025, the government has maintained that security operations were necessary to preserve public order while rejecting allegations of systematic abuses during the post-election period. For now, the complaint remains at a preliminary stage, but the move signals an attempt by opposition actors to internationalize accountability efforts amid deepening political polarization in Cameroon. Viral video showing Cameroon soldiers thanking God after narrow escape is the next report. Well, this report says that a viral video circulating on social media has drawn attention to the realities faced by French Cameroon government soldiers deployed in southern Cameroon after an alleged improvised explosive device incident during military operation. And the footage recorded in French, soldiers are seen reacting emotionally after what they described as a narrow escape from a roadside explosion. The troops appears visibly shaken by fear, with expressions of relief and moments of prayers following the incident. Well, let's see the videos of soldiers.
Comme les enfants bénis.
Au nom de Jésus, au nom de
Jésus. On ne meurt pas ici.
Au nom de Jésus,
Amen.
Amen, amen, au nom de Jésus.
On se moque de nos camarades qui nous abandonnent sur le terrain.
Le PSA de
un accident. Non, même pas honte. Non, pas honte.
C'est pour le vol de l'argent, il est fort.
Vraiment. Les gars, à tout de suite. Les gars, voilà ça. Qu'on retire nous-mêmes. Nous ne sommes pas des démineurs, mais on a choqué tout à l'heure avec eux. Un a explosé. Voici le trou. On ne parle pas de bouche. On a choqué, on a fait face à eux tout à l'heure, ça a choqué. Voilà le deuxième. Voilà le deuxième, les gars. Voilà ça.
Well, just like you can see in the video, their body language and tone suggest their emotional pressure of operating in an environment where every movement carries risk and where every attack can happen without warning. Analysts observing the footage knows that such visible fear and gratitude from French Cameroon soldiers raises important questions about the psychological strain of prolonged war in Ambazonia and whether this level of exposure begins to shift thinking around the sustainability of armed clashes between forces of Cameroon forces and the Ambazonian State Army. Security analysts say that the video shows a deeper question whether and within the conflict when soldiers openly display fear after near-death experiences, does it strengthen the argument for intensified military response, or does it gradually increase pressure for alternative approaches such as dialogue and political negotiation? The footage has therefore sparked wider discussion not only about the incident itself, but also about the broader direction of the war in southern Cameroons, where government forces and Ambazonian State Army have remained locked in years of confrontation. At the same time, observers caution that while emotional battlefield moments can influence public debate, they do not automatically translate into policy shifts, especially in war, where both sides remain deeply entrenched. Southern Cameroons continue to experience reoccurring impact of the war, resulting in ongoing insecurity, displacement, and humanitarian concerns since the outbreak of the war in 2016. Meanwhile, authorities have not yet issued any official statement confirming the details of the incident and, of course, what has been of the soldiers. But this video shows a lot is happening. I mean, you could see the video, you could see the faces of the soldiers, you could feel the pain. I do not know if Barrister Fru is back so that he can react on some of the issues that has been brought to the front burner. If not, we'll go to the news on the global scene. Well, on the global scene, the United States and Iran signaled on Friday that they were nearing an agreement to end weeks of conflict, raising hopes for a diplomatic breakthrough despite lingering disputes over Tehran's nuclear program and the scope of sanctions relief. A senior U.S. administration official said both sides had agreed on the text of a preliminary memorandum, with Washington expecting an initial deal to be signaled within days. Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araqi confirmed that negotiations had reached an advanced stage, but said some details remained unresolved. He also portrayed the emerging agreement as evidence that Iran had strengthened its position during the war. According to sources familiar with the negotiations, the proposed framework would reopen the Strait of Hormuz and ease restrictions on Iranian ports, ending a blockade that disrupted one of the world's most critical energy corridors. In return, the United States would begin releasing billions of dollars in frozen Iran assets and waive some sanctions on Iran's oil exports. Further negotiation on Iran nuclear activities would follow under a separate timeline. The draft agreement reportedly allows for a 60-day period of talks aimed at addressing Tehran's nuclear program. U.S. officials maintain that the process would ultimately lead to the dismantling of Iran's capacity to produce nuclear weapons, including the removal of its stockpile of highly enriched uranium under international oversight. Iran, however, appears unwilling to accept the complete dismantling of its nuclear program. Tehran has insisted, or instead pushed for, the down blending of this enriched uranium while preserving what it describes as its right to maintain a peaceful nuclear program. Differences also remain over reports that the proposed deal could include discussion on war reparations and the abandonment of long-standing U.S. demands for limits on Iran's missile program. American officials have disputed those claims. The negotiations have unfolded without Israel, despite its involvement in the conflict along the United States. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has indicated that his government will not be bound by emerging agreements, raising questions about the durability of any settlement reached. The prospect of a ceasefire has already reverberated through global markets. Oil prices fell by more than 3%, while stock markets advanced amid expectations that the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz could ease pressure on global energy supplies. The diplomatic push comes after one of the most volatile periods in the region in recent years, marked by U.S. strikes on Iranian targets, retaliatory attacks on American military installations, and escalating exchanges involving Israel and Iran. For the White House, a deal could help contain the economic and political fallout of the war, which has contributed to rising fuel prices and renewed security and scrutiny of President Donald Trump's Middle East strategy ahead of November midterm election. While officials on both sides have experienced optimism, analysts caution that significant hurdles remain. The competing narratives emerging from Washington and Tehran suggest that each government is attempting to frame the negotiations as a strategic victory for its domestic audience. Let's get Trump's video.
The war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days. Probably have a signing maybe in Europe, and it's a great thing. Stock market's up 1,000 points. That means they like the deal. See, that means they like, if the market goes down, that means they don't like the deal. But it's been up, oil's dropped, oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. I said I was in Iowa. It was $1.85 a gallon for the next few days. Probably have a signing maybe in Europe, and it's a great thing. Stock market's up 1,000 points. That means they like the deal. See, that means they like, if the market goes down, that means they don't like the deal. But it's been up, oil's dropped, oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. I said I was in Iowa. It was $1.85 a gallon. And I don't know if I'm going to get there, but we're going to get pretty close. It's going to come down, and when oil comes down, everything else comes down. And most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this. So it was a big, very big thing.
Well, any agreement would mark a major turning point in a conflict that threatened regional stability and disrupted global energy markets. However, the success of the deal may ultimately depend on whether the two sides can bridge their differences over Iran's nuclear ambition and the mechanism needed to enforce long-term compliance. All right, away from that, let's head into Nigeria, where police fired tear gas at demonstrators in Nigeria's capital on Friday as protesters took to the street to denounce worsening insecurity and the growing wave of kidnappings across the country. Challenge you. No.
Another challenge you. Another challenge you.
Fellow Ambazonians, today is Saturday, the 13th of June 2026, is the launching of our county humanitarian draft season. This is our mega humanitarian county draft. So this day we are launching this exercise for all the counties put together. So every county executive is invited. Every member of government is invited. All well-wishers, all supporters of our endeavor. All those of you who are on the peripheries, those who are inside, the flag bearers, the frontliners, everyone is invited. Let us launch this season and let us put our hands together and make sure we finish this sooner than later. Extend this invite to your friends, to your colleagues, to every revolutionary firebrand that you know, every pillar and everyone who has been and who is in support of this struggle. Spread the invitation, share it as much as possible from the home front to the diaspora. Thank you very much. I hope to see you there. Let's have a good time together. If I have some things to say, I will probably wait till tomorrow, during the draft to tell you. So you are all invited. Thank you for coming. Fellow Ambazonians, today is Saturday, the 13th of June 2026, is the launching of our county humanitarian draft season. This is our mega humanitarian county draft. So this day we are launching this exercise for all the counties put together. So every county executive